Russian forces have been pushed out of towns like this, Bucha near Kiev, but any joy felt by Ukrainians has been wiped out by the evidence of war crimes, which Russia denies, now being uncovered in such places. For this leading human rights lawyer in Kiev, the last few days are just a warning of what may soon be found.
Frankly speaking, we were shocked, because if such atrocities in such scale happened in the small villages in Kiev region, what we can expect to see in liberated Mariupol.
Unlike the city of Mariupol, Bucha is now firmly in Ukrainian hands, and they're clearing unexploded munitions. And what's being found there may be changing the approach of Western countries.
I'm afraid when you look at what's happening in Bucha, the revelations that we're seeing from what Putin has done in Ukraine, which doesn't look far short of genocide, to me, it is no wonder that people are responding in the way that they are.
President Zelensky's been keeping up the pressure, today telling the Irish Parliament Russia is targeting infrastructure like ports.
Why are they doing this? Because for them, hunger is also a weapon against us, ordinary people, as an instrument of domination.
The American Secretary of State's flown into Brussels for more talks with NATO foreign ministers on tightening economic measures. And the US has now sanctioned Vladimir Putin's 2 adult daughters. But could Western help go beyond that? It's believed these pictures show tanks from the Czech Republic being sent to the Ukrainian army. And some analysts believe there could be more of that if Western governments compensate those countries sending the equipment.
Where the UK, for example, or the US feels they can't supply directly tanks or aircraft that, for example, couldn't be integrated into the Ukrainian maintenance and supply system, they might feel they can guarantee to supply kit to Eastern European NATO members in exchange for their existing Soviet stocks, so that over time they can substitute those in and get the Ukrainians what they need quickly.
In the Ukrainian city of Lviv, they've been remembering those who've lost their lives as they prepare for the suffering that is still to come.
And Andy, I understand further announcements from the government this evening then?
Yes, we've had the announcement of the 5th round of sanctions, as the government calls it, against Russia. Most significantly, perhaps, the freezing of all assets of the biggest Russian bank, Sberbank, but also that announcement that the UK is going to end all imports of Russian oil and coal by the end of this year. Now, the significant one that's left out there is gas, because stopping all gas imports would be more problematic. But Britain is saying it's going to stop all imports of oil and coal. I think it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days, when we are expecting more announcements coming out of those meetings going on in Brussels, just what the mood is there, whether it has changed significantly because of what we've seen over the last couple of days. Because the Ukrainians now have every right to say, and are indeed saying, that they are not in a position to leave Russian troops in control of any part of Ukraine now that they are seeing what they would certainly claim to be the evidence of mounting war crimes in those areas where Russia has even temporarily been in control. So the moral pressure is now going to be on, I think, on Western governments to provide that kind of help to the Ukrainians, not just to fight the Russians to a standstill or to end up with some parts of Ukraine being occupied by Russia, but are Western governments really going to be prepared to back Ukraine to drive the Russians out of all Ukrainian territory because of the awful nature of what's been seen and uncovered over the last few days?
OK, absolutely. Thank you very much, Andy Bell.